conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping and Paul Felder.
All right, here we are. Paul Felder's dancing. I'm dying.
No music.
I have literally just got in from Brazil. 11-hour flight to Houston, 4-hour layover, landed at 3 a.m. Not complaining about travel, then a 4-hour flight here. No voice, but we are here. The Believe You Me podcast. We had to get it done. One, because we promised that we're going to do it every week on Monday, like any normal podcast does. But also, we got a fair bit to talk about. But Paul, how the bloody hell are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. Obviously, I didn't come back from Brazil just recently, so feeling a bit fresher.
Okay.
And that's good because I'm ready. I got 10 hours of sleep last night, and you know how that does you. That does you good. And we had like a Thanksgiving for my mom because she wasn't doing well. We planned it a while ago, but she's doing great. So it actually went really smooth and really good. So that was yesterday. So kids were off today. So it's been a good week. And then I'm off to Vancouver in a couple of days to call the fights myself. So
nice.
The next time we speak, I'll be in the same exact boat that you are, because when I get back, not that I'm complaining, but when I get back, it's like after midnight, the way that my travel comes back from Vancouver. So I will be the one that's fucked when we talk.
So I walked in, I get on this, I walk in, I want to shower, obviously. And apologies about my voice, guys. I always lose my voice. I didn't drink a lot. I didn't leave Rio till 9 p.m. So we sat across the street on the beach.
Yeah. Very
calm, very chill. Just had a few beers and a lot of conversation. Then went to the airport, didn't drink on the flight or whatever, but I woke up in Houston. I'm like, So this is better. But anyway, I walk in my bathroom to get a shower. Rebecca's bought a new scale because the scale we've had in there for fucking ages, she doesn't, all she needs to do is put a battery in it. I'm like, put the battery in the scale so I can check my weight. Anyway, typically on a good week, I'm at 216, 217. On a bad week, I'm at 222, 223. Now, you know, when you travel, you hold on to a lot of water. I stepped on the scale, 231 pounds. I was like, holy shit. So I'm a little bit puffy. I've got no voice. I'm exhausted, but we have a hell of a show planned.
But we're here. Yeah. I'm glad we're here, though. Like I know we shuffled it together with the travel schedule and the family lives and all that kind of stuff, but it's good. We'll be getting less flack from our followers, our believers. So I'm glad that we're jumping on. And again, a great weekend in Brazil. We've got fights coming up. We've got announcements that are out there to be talked about. Merab is a crazy son of a bitch. So yeah, a lot of good stuff to get through.
There's a lot of good stuff to talk about. And of course, Saturday night in Rio, the fights, they were unbelievable. The crowd, we always talk about the crowds in Paris and elsewhere. Dude, there was a lot of energy in that building. When Charles Olivera got that finish at the end, they were all stamping their feet and stuff. It was crazy. You couldn't hear yourself think. But what a night. There was only 2 decisions, I think, all night long. Yeah. Was there 3? I'm not sure. 2 or 3. Regardless, mainly finishes. Great night of fights, lots to talk about. The prelims were awesome. I'm just looking at what Harrington put in here. I should just have the Wikipedia page open, really.
Yeah, I'm pulling it.
But I guess we'll start with Charles Olivera. I mean, Gamrot, better wrestler. Gamrot beaten Arman Sarukian. Gamrot, potentially not the matchup that Charles was preparing for and all the rest of it. Gets a takedown not long long after that. Reverses it, takes the back, gets on top. Second round goes out, starts punishing him on the feet, takes him down, chokes him out, doesn't even have it under the thing, just pure squeezes the crap out of him. And then the building just erupts, man. Oliveira jumps over the fence into the crowd, just like Jose Aldo did with Chad Mendes. He's got his family. He's holding his little kid up in the air like this. Dude, what a moment.
And, I was watching that, and as soon as that fight started, Michael, I thought about the podcast that we had just done, and I thought about how I predicted that Gamrot was going to get it done, and I immediately thought, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, sometimes you make these picks and you try to be all cool and like all the other guys, and and I thought too much about it. I thought too much about him not being excited about the matchup at first. I thought too much about the knockout that he recently has. I mean, so did Harrington, right? I mean, I think me and Harrington, Brian was the one that was like, nah, you guys are crazy. He's going to take him down. He's going to choke him out. So shout out to Brian for being completely right on this one. And I take it like a man. And I was so wrong. He looked fantastic on the ground like he always does. He was aggressive on the feet when he needed to be. And he was classic Charles Olivera in that one, pulling off yet another freaking submission, just like Charles does. And I really didn't put enough stock into the fact that he's fighting back in Brazil. I think his record at home is pretty crazy with how he does fighting.
7 wins, 7 fights in Brazil, 7 wins, undefeated.
See, that's where the gambling perspective for me, I don't think enough about those kind of things. And now moving forward, I'm going to start getting all the stats out. I'm going to start calling Yanni. I'm going to start really thinking about my picks when I start making these decisions. Cause I kind of wanted Charles to win, I think, in my heart, because obviously, a former opponent, somebody that I respect and really love to watch fight myself. So I was happy, extremely happy for him. Also sad for Gamrot. This is a young guy on the come up who took a big risk taking this fight, really wanted to prove that he belongs at the very tippy top of this division, and it didn't go his way, and credit to him for stepping up. But you can't be mad to see Charles Olivera go and get another dub in Brazil the way he did it. And I love the call out. I think it makes complete sense.
Well, he said he was even contemplating never fighting again, but then he started getting so many messages from people, from fans, from children, and what his career meant to all of them. And he's like, I got to fight again. I got to inspire these people. So for anyone that doesn't believe that, just look at what he did. You should have seen the emotion just at the open workouts. They were going crazy, man. And he was just fighting back the tears. He was fighting back the tears in the octagon. It's unbelievable. When you have that kind of support, it does. Yeah, we always say it brings pressure, but that is going to bring out the best version of yourself. I was just looking at my record there because I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I was never beaten in the UK. I think I had 20 fights in the UK. Before, pre and post UFC, or pre UFC and during it, So, yeah, when you're fighting in your home country, and there's a whole nation behind you, it's you got to rise to the task. I'm fucking tired today, guys. So if I start rambling off and you start thinking, what is he talking about, Paul? Just jump in, take over, grab the helm. But the BMF, Max Holloway. It's the perfect call out.
It really is.
100%.
It really is, especially for Charles. He is that, right? He is live and die by the sword. He goes out there and he either gets beat up and finished or comes back from the dead in some of these fights and manages to come back and pull off a huge victory. It makes 100% sense for him and Max to run it back. There was a weird finish when they fought before with the whole esophagus tear and all that kind of craziness. And who doesn't want to see that? And again, both these guys, despite their age, they're not even that old. But again, both guys started their careers extremely young. Neither one of them, I feel, is going to be in line to be fighting for any belts anytime soon. But they're megastars in the sport of MMA and in the UFC. This is pay-per-view worthy fight right there. Max and Charles fighting for that belt. Come on. It's going to be pure violence. It's going to be unbelievable skill on display the whole time. Sign me the F up.
I just want to just quickly go back to Charles on Saturday night, though, before we talk about that, because we all know he got knocked out against Pantoja, right? By doing what Charles Olivera does, walking people down, being aggressive, being reckless, being exciting. What does he do? Does he change it? Does he go, you know what? I'm going to be a little more methodical. I'm going to set things up. I'm going to take my time. Gamrot's a good wrestler, so I'm not going to rush in. I'm going to pick my shots. I'm going to stick and move. No. What does he do? He walks him down with reckless abandon, throwing knees, punches, kicks, elbows. And that's why you got to love this guy, man. Because after what he just went through, and there was a lot of people saying, oh, it's too early. It's too early. And I was like, no, it's not. It's been 3-4 months. Right, the guy's a fighter. He wants to eradicate that loss. He wants to show the world that, hey, I'm not finished yet. 3 months is plenty of time. Now, I'm sure there's some scientific, buffoons out there, some doctors or whatever, that would say, well, technically you need a certain amount of time and blah, blah, blah. No, we're cut from a different cloth. He's a fighter. He's fine. Okay. He's good. And he just proved it. Destroyed Gamrot. I mean, man, unreal.
And I think because of the matchup, I think it made even more sense than if he was fighting Fiziev, right? Coming off of that knockout, when you're fighting a very technical, powerful striker like Fiziev, I think it actually made more sense for the matchup to be Gamrot, right? A guy that, yeah, he's going to throw strikes. Yeah, if he catches you on the chin, he's got the ability to hurt you a bit. But it just makes more sense to go out there and let it go against somebody like Gamrot who's going to try to take you down, who's more of a wrestler. I think ultimately, I think it was best case scenario really for Charles in the matchup that he got presented on Saturday night after Fiziev got hurt, because Fiziev was going to come for your chin. He was going to come throwing big left hooks, tons of kicks, whereas Gamrot, he's going to take you down. And okay, take me down. I'm freaking Charles Olivera. I'm going to submit you. And that's exactly what happened.
Sorry, I'm just texting my wife because Ford, the German Shepherd's in the room, and he has that condition, the fistula. He's an arse licker.
Oh,
he
yeah.
likes to like aggressively. And I'm like, what is that noise? What is that noise? And it's my German Shepherd in the corner of the room. Ford, stop licking your ass.
The other day,
I can't
Mike, my hound dog, Cash, is licking his ass, right? And then farts at his own face. We're in the other room and we hear him, and then you hear, and Christine starts dying. She's like, he just farted in his own face. And he's like,
dude, that's the thing. When you see dog owners and they let the dog just like lick their face and everything, I don't let my dog lick me. You know what I mean? They don't care. Some dogs eat their own poop. I couldn't. I'm sitting here trying to listen to you and all can hear. I'm like, what is it? Oh God, get him out of it. Get that dog out of it while
he farted in
his own arms.
It was too funny. And he's such a goof, big old floppy dumb ears. What was that? Yeah, that was your own ass, buddy, that you're eating.
Yeah. Brian, play that clip of Max Holloway basically accepting the fight.
We know, bro. We here, bro. We heard the call out. Tell him. Only time will tell now, bruh. Type of fight, the White House. That's so long to wait. It'd be such a long wait, you know what I mean? Ain't making no promises, though. It'd be a fun one. And we've been talking about this fight. Me and him have a history. He's blaming it on some type of injury. I guess we get to figure it out now. Huh? My hand is good. Not good. My hand is getting better. And we're just waiting to get cleared. I haven't really got back on the mats yet. I've been doing some strength and conditioning, but that's about it. We'll be back sooner than later. So you guys might be looking at the King of Rio. Just saying. Check the
I mean, he's got a point. The new King of Rio might be Charles Olivera, though. And speaking of the King of Rio, or according to Max, the former King of Rio, Jose Aldo got to go in there, put his gloves down. Because his last fight was Montreal. That's where he retired. So it didn't really make sense. So he got like a beautiful tribute, walked out. The crowd goes crazy. Here he is, puts his gloves down. That was awesome. I said, it's what every fighter dreams of. And I was a little bit jealous. I was going to have one more fight, even with my compromised second eye, just so I could do this. You know? But my manager was like, Mike, you're romanticizing this moment. Don't do it. You're going to risk going blind. But now I'm like, I wish I did it. But fair play, Jose deserves that.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I was watching that. I was saying out loud, I just saying legend. You know, it's only appropriate that he gets to do that and set those gloves down in Rio. And man, the fact that he had retired, got into the Hall of Fame, and still came back and had the run that he had down a weight class, it's crazy. It just speaks to the savagery of Jose Aldo Jr. He's just one of my favorite guys, especially early on. I remember thinking, I got to learn a leg kick like that guy. Like, especially just the left hooks to the chop down on that lead leg. He made it look so sweet.
Yeah, no. A good night of fights, as I said before, only 2 finishes. What were some of the big ones? I mean, I got to start with this. On the prelims, we had Vitor Petrino taking on Thomas Peterson.
Yeah.
Not, as I said repeatedly on broadcast, Stephen Peterson. So my apologies. Because we have a Stephen Peterson as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was just a brain fart there.
And then that was a brutal knockout.
Well, it really was a brutal knockout, but apologies, Thomas, if you do happen to see this. Certainly was not intentional. We have a Thomas Peterson, a Stephen Peterson, just one of those things. But Heidi pointed it out to me. I was like, oh, shit. And then before I got a chance to say anything, he gets brutally knocked out. And that was, I mean, what an uppercut left hook from Vitor Petrino. So Thomas Peterson, great guy. He's got a great future. Again, apologies one more time, but well done to Vitor Petrino. What else was on there? Let's have a look. I mean, it was all finishes. All finishes.
Filio with a huge finish as well.
Jafel Filio with the Kimura.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Aswell. Now, there was a lot of talk about Lucas Almeida's hand going into this.
Yeah.
I saw a video.
That was blown up bad. I saw that after the fact. And I was like, holy crap. How did he even get past medicals, bro?
Yeah, but maybe I have no idea because I retroactively saw the video as well where his hand was swollen because it was doing the rounds on socials. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he had a spar or something, like after all the medicals, or maybe just cracked someone's head.
Because I remember when I would do medicals, they check your hands. That's like one of the things they check on us is like they grab your hands, make sure obviously you're about to have a fist fight. Are your hands okay?
But in the
Brazil, a Brazilian, the doctor's like, you good? I'm good. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, hey, bro, listen, I fought with one eye for bloody years. You can get in there with a dodgy hand. Don't worry about it. He didn't throw that right hand, but fair play to Michael Aswell getting his first win in the UFC. We got to talk about Joel Alvarez and Vicente Luque.
Oh, yeah,
what went down there. And apologies to John Gooden. I got a little stern. There's a lot of people talking shit online. Joel Alvarez had a perfect finishing record. And I'm a big fan of Vicente Luque, man. So no one's going to talk shit about Vicente.
Not about him. Not about him.
He's a tremendous fighter. He got clipped in the eye. He read it as an eye poke because sometimes it feels like that. Because with the short fingers, the 4-ounce gloves on, a knuckle in the eye can feel like an eye poke. He hits the canvas hard, starts talking about his eye. Referee steps in, initially calls the fight off. If I'm getting this wrong, correct me, because I have just got
I
off
saw the hands go like this.
He calls the fight off. Then he calls in the doctor. Then they start the 5-minute timer. Then they look at the replay, and it shows that it was a legal blow. And it's like, that should have been a finish for Joel Alvarez in the first round, which would have brought his record to 23 wins with 23 finishes. Now he has one decision on his record. Fair play to Vicente Luque. The man's a warrior. It's nothing, no shade at him. I have tremendous respect. So I was just like, it was an inexperienced referee. I get it. Pressure of the situation and all that. But still, it was unfortunate for Joel Alvarez.
Yeah, it was a clusterfuck. Let's just call it what it was, right? If you stop the fight and it was because of a legal shot, and then you realize it's because of a legal shot, you can't go back. What just recently happened?
Well, if you call the
Neil Magny fight, it's similar to that where I mean, I'm kind of glad for Neil that he got to go and do that, but it's really unfortunate for Jake Matthews where if you stop the fight really should not be able to be continued again.
You have to stick to your guns. If you make that decision, and whether it's right or wrong, if the referee does this and breaks it, it's over. That shouldn't be able to be undone.
Yeah, I agree.
So it was a clusterfuck. I felt for Joel Alvarez. The whole situation was a bit mad. Unfortunately.
I love that guy, by the way. I think he's so much fun to watch every time he's in there. And now at 170, he was a massive guy for 155 pounds. And hopefully he can start to really, gets that first win up at 170 pounds, look good, gets to take on a really tough veteran. And, I know it does suck that he gets that first decision win on his record, but it's good to see that too, right? Like as much as that sucks that you don't get to keep that streak going, it just shows, okay, now he knows, all right, I can win a decision. I can overcome hurdles that are really difficult. Like the fight should have been stopped. Then we're replaying and realize it's legal. And yet we got to continue to start the fight. I think that's only going to be growth for Joel Alvarez ultimately in that fight against Vicente Luque. And Vicente Luque, man, you know, he's just a goddamn beast. But it should have been.
I'll tell you, another guy that you got to keep an eye out for, Mario Pinto, or Pinto, I think he said Pinto. Undefeated. That'll be his third stoppage. Got one on the contender.
Holy shit.
2 knockouts now. He's 6'5", I want to say off the top of my head. Yep. Athletic. The man can move. He's like a real athlete. He's got knockout power against Janice. We saw well-rounded skills. Took him down. I didn't expect that. We saw well-rounded skills also on the microphone, because I don't know if you've got his interview, Harrington or Brian, pardon me. I know Mario Pinto is English. I mean, his father's Portuguese, but he lives and trains in England. He has an English accent. I asked him a question and he's like, oh, I don't know. No, I have no English. And then I'm like, what are you doing? I knew he was like just trying to like
play into the crowd too.
And then he goes into, brav, listen, shout out my corner, you know what I mean? Shout out my corner man, and yeah, bish, bash, bosh, which is like the most English thing ever. Do you know what I'm saying? So, hey, but fair play. That man's got a future. I'm telling you, he can wrestle, he's tall, he's quick, he's got good boxing, he's got proper power in his hands. And of course, we just saw Saturday night, the man's got very, very well-rounded skills as well.
Yeah, I was impressed with that fight. And just the fact that you can mix it up like that and you get a really good kickboxer. Okay, let's play on the ground. You got somebody that maybe wants to wrestle with you. You start letting your hands go, especially in that weight class at heavyweight. When you can mix it up like that and kind of fight everywhere, you're automatically a problem and a threat.
Yeah, Con Offley. We'll move on to other stuff in just a minute because there's a lot of news.
Happy for Con Offley to go and get a dub, man. I feel like this guy's a workhorse, and to see him get a win like that, I was like, all right.
Yeah, but the crowd, it was crazy because you couldn't hear him. You couldn't hear him speak. I couldn't hear him. Oh, here's Pinto. Let's have a look here.
Brother, I don't speak English. Vamos vocês
I'm
todo,
like,
agradecer a todo o apoio. Eu tô aqui. Brother, I practice something in English. I'm going to speak English now. Forgive my English. So basically, I want to give a big shout out to my people in London and England. Thank you for all the support. Big shout out to London Fight Zone, Fight City Gym, Shift.
We don't need all the shout, but yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? I know you're setting something up. But then everyone online's like, oh, yeah, he caught Bisping off guard there. I'm like, no, he didn't. Yeah. I speak to him all the time. We had him in the fighter meetings. Yeah. I know for a fact he's English, you know. Yeah. Fair play, he's having a bit of fun. But yeah, Offley, just getting booed, drowned out big time. Because the Brazilians, they love their fighters. And listen, he went out there, he beat Ricardo Ramos totally fairly, choked him out in 3 minutes. He was respectful on the mic. And they just like, kiss my ass. We don't want to hear you.
Yeah.
Harrington, jump on. And Brian, anything, any other takeaways from Saturday night's event before we move on? And
I think the big one for me was as soon as Deiveson Figueiredo got his win, Merab takes to Twitter and says, hey man, great win. Love seeing it. I'll be here at the top waiting for you. So, you know, I mean, given the news that we saw today, I'd have to assume that means he's already got his next fight planned out after December.
No. Oh, sorry. You're talking about Merab, because I was going to say Merab Uzi fight in Petr Yan. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, there was a weird one with Montel and Figueiredo. It wasn't the most action-packed fight, but regardless, Figueiredo gets a win.
I thought this was interesting. The one dissenting scorecard gave the first round to Montel Jackson, which I thought the round in question would have been the second one, because the second one felt very back and forth. Deiveson won the first half. Montel was really taken over late. Montel obviously won the third on all three scorecards. I just thought it was really interesting that Deiveson lost. Like, the only reason it was a split is because I think it was an awful decision on that first round.
Yeah. I mean, But fair play, whatever, the right person won in the end. Deiveson Figueiredo got it done. And yeah, you never know. Maybe he fights Merab early next year. Brian, any thoughts on the Saturday night before we move on?
Never bet against Charles Olivera, where the strategy is to take him down.
Okay, Brian. Lay it on, buddy. I was so wrong. And I texted you guys immediately. I was oh, man.
Yeah, Brian the soothsayer. Well done.
I tell my brother and anybody that asks me for picks, I always tell them, listen, I'm bad at predicting these kinds of things. I either look into it too much or I don't look into it enough. And I should have went with Charles.
All right, this episode is sponsored by Fume, and they are here to help you ditch smoking and vaping. Look, listen, nobody wants to stand there on the street vaping out of like a bright vape and you're looking like a little teenager, or it's orange and it's, I don't know what kind of crazy flavors they have. Don't do it. You want to quit that. You want to quit smoking, and Fume is here to help, because Fume is not a vape. There is no vapor. You can use it anywhere. There's no nicotine. It's not addictive. There is non-toxic flavors, and it is a guilt-free alternative. Also, there's no batteries, so you'll never need to charge it, and it looks awesome. Feel the weighted, high-quality design, and it's made to fidget with. Calms anxiety with magnets, snaps, and clicks. Fume continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure safety of their products, and Fume is backed by doctors in the United States. So ditch the vape today. It's not a good look. Stop smoking cigarettes. One day that's going to kill you. Get involved with Fume. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code BELIEVE to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com. Use the code BELIEVE to get a free gift with your order today. Tryfume.com/believe. The code is believe, and you'll get a free gift when you order the journey pack. All right, so just as I was landing at John Wayne Airport via Houston, absolutely destroyed. I land and see there's a lot of news in MMA. I know Dana jumped on a live and give some announcements, but I can't remember what they were to save my life. Harrington, go ahead.
So he usually does it on a Tuesday. I'm guessing he did it on Monday, so it could make the Believe You Me podcast. He said UFC. That's it, dude. We're trendsetters. UFC 323 is going to feature Merab trying for his fourth title defense inside a year against Petr Yan. That card's also going to feature Joshua Van versus Pantoja. So it's two titles on the line. Also announced Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot, and Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov.
Yeah. Four good fights.
Talbot and
Cejudo.
Cejudo, huh? Not a matchup I would have predicted.
Same here. That's a tricky one for Talbot.
Yeah, that's a real tricky one for him.
Because his first loss, who was that to? And if I remember
Barcelos.
He kind of got out grappled, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that, because he's 10-1, 8 stoppages. Ronnie Barcelos by decision. Yeah, if I remember rightly, he kind of got out grappled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Comes back, gets a good win over Felipe Lima, rebounds, gets a decision, but now it's Henry Cejudo, which is a fun fight. And it's like, dude, all right, so you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights in the UFC, 1 on the contender, beat Felipe Lima. It's a big step up, though. The greatest combat sports athlete of all time. And stylistically, a problem.
I agree. But also, I guess with, a big risk like that comes huge reward, because if he goes out there and he beats Henry Cejudo, forget that loss to Barcelos. You're throwing yourself. But hopefully things have been polished up, too, because if you do beat Cejudo, you're putting yourself, you're in the shit. You're in the mix then. You don't beat Cejudo and then start fighting guys that are number 15, 14 out of the rankings. Like you're on your way. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of guys, I feel like they want these fights. And I'm glad for them. But again, if you go and pull that one off, you're in the deep end for a long time.
But to be fair, this should be the state of things. I know they have rankings now, and back in the day, it was kind of, welcome to the UFC. Your next fight's Chuck Liddell if you're in the light heavyweight division and Chuck is in the champion. You know, you're in the deep water straight away. Obviously, the roster is far bigger than it used to be. There's rankings, of course, but he's been around the UFC now since 2023. You know, so it's 2 years in the organization, 5 fights, as I say. Henry Cejudo, he's lost his last 3.
Yeah, but, and he's a stud. It's just
Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
Is who beat him. Aljamain Sterling, Merab Dvalishvili, and then Song Yudong last time when he gets the eye poke.
Yeah.
So it's not like Henry Cejudo. I mean, you look at him, you think, oh, he's lost his last 3. We're talking Aljamain Sterling with the most title defenses at bantamweight. Merab Dvalishvili, that might just be the bantamweight GOAT. And then Song Yudong with the eye poke situation as well. So it's not like Henry's damaged goods.
No, not at all. Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. Henry just wants to go and get it. He's talked about it, right? I want to get a win. I want to go out there and I want to get a win before I decide to make any decisions, whether I'm moving on. Maybe it's his last. Maybe he figures if I can go out there, beat this young kid who's looked really good and just get back in the win column, he can finally say sayonara to combat sports. But again, it goes both ways. It's you got Henry Cejudo who has the game plan. You look at what happened with Raoni Barcelos and how he beat Peyton Talbot. So you've got a great chance to go out there and do the same thing. And then on the other end is a massive opportunity for Peyton Talbot to really put himself right up in there in the rankings and beat a former double champ.
And not to mention Henry Cejudo can box as well. He's got legit hands, man. He's good. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. Merab versus Petr Yan rematch. First one was relatively close, but Merab took it. I know Yan has been very vocal about getting that rematch because I've commentated his last 2 or 3 fights. And at every meeting, he claims he was robbed by the judges. He's beaten Figueiredo. Who else has he beaten? Who's his last few for Petr Yan? It's Figueiredo. Hold on. I'm going to find it. I'm going to look it up. Petr Yan, Wiki, Bosch. Bish Bash Bosch.
Bosch.
Mario Pinto. It is Song Yudong, Figueiredo, Marcus McGee. There's his last 3 wins. Before that, Merab, O'Malley, and Aldo.
Yep.
So that's a good fight. And then Coleman, obviously, Pantoja versus Brandon Royval, which should be a banger as well.
While we're on Merab, too, did you guys hear? It's been, they put it out there all over social media, too, that he sparred 5 full rounds of sparring the day of his freaking title fight.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Dude, he embodies a nickname, I think, better than anybody in the entire UFC right now. The Machine is exactly what this dude is. He is nonstop energy the whole time.
So I'm glad you brought this up because what we do for a living, or what we used to do, yes, there's science out there and there's training theories and science and red days and green days and all the rest of it and recovery protocol. And, Charles Olivera shouldn't have come back too soon. But this is a different kind of sport. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure every sports coach on the planet would say, don't spar 5 rounds on the day of a title fight. 1, you might get injured. 2, you're not going to be at your optimal peak performance. The glycogen isn't going to have a chance to fully re-energize the muscles and all that type of shit.
I like the glycogen talk, though. Yeah.
Well, I know a thing or two. I know for those that don't know, glycogen is what fuels a muscle. And when you use the muscle, it runs out. It depletes, but then it refills with glycogen. Anyway, probably butchered that, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
No, but we're fighters. And it's a different beast. It's a different sport. And yes, Charles Olivera maybe shouldn't have come back. And Merab shouldn't have sparred 5 rounds. But whatever gets this mind right, you know what I mean? Because, we do things. We do push ourselves to the limit. We do take risks. And this is what the bloody sport is all about. You know what I mean? So it's not a one size fits all. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, and I do agree with you that I believe that MMA is in its own league when it comes to how you handle the training and sports science and this and that. I do think it needs to be there, like you're talking about. I think using that as guidelines and having that to just better your performance. But at the end of the day, there's not many other sports where you got to get in there and you just got to dog it out and literally fight. In your mind, it feels like you're fighting to the death, right? That's what it feels like when you're actually in there fighting. It's unlike any other sport. It's not running a race. It's not running a marathon. It's not even wrestling, okay, which is a combat sport. Boxing. I dare even say it's not boxing, right? There's so many things that go on inside of the cage in MMA. Boxing being very similar, I would say, and kickboxing obviously as well. But MMA, man, so much of who is going to win does come down to determination. It comes down to heart, comes down to mental fortitude and toughness in here more than anything. And whatever is going to get you strong there for the octagon, if that means your crazy ass goes and spars 5 rounds, okay. And I'm sure the partners that are going with him, I'm sure Merab's doing his thing. But the guy, as long as the guys in there with him are put in there because John Wood and his coaches know, okay, this guy's going to give him a look and not be a dick. That's all that matters, to keep him safe. And listen, there's always a risk. You can hurt yourself in the back room hitting pads. You hit an elbow moving around. You get poked in the eye moving around in the back. You twist your knee doing jujitsu. It's unlike anything else. You can always get injured leading up to an MMA fight up until literally the last moment. And Michael, we've called fights where we're waiting and we get on our headset. Oh, so-and-so's in the back. They've got herpes, or oh shit, they pulled their back, or it's the Wild West still in terms of how things go in terms of injuries and all that kind of stuff in our sport.
I used to spar in the locker room. That was how I warmed up. Obviously, you'd hit pads a little bit. You'd do a little shrimp. You'd do a little arm bar to triangle, little flow drill. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, shout out Kendall Grove. The poor bastard. He'd have the big boxing gloves on.
Yeah,
I'd have my 4 ounce.
MMA, you had your UFC gloves on, just knuckling up on
not even the sparring gloves, and just obviously I was pulling the shot. But some of them get through, and you're like, "Sorry, Kendall." He's like, "Oh, it's okay." Bust lip.
That's Craig Eckelberg for me. That was my guy. Yeah. Same thing, man. And just you need a guy like that. That is a road dog for you, man. Somebody that's there, and they know you're not being a dick. They know you're in the zone. They know you're trying to get loosened up and ready to go. And it's usually that guy that's the first one right there celebrating with you afterwards. It's like, hey, man, I'm glad you did that, because if it means you did that and then you went out there and beat that dude's ass, it was all worth it.
Yeah, because, I mean, as you said before, maybe the science books say this isn't quite correct, but if it gets your mind right, it far outweighs the negative impact that the science books might say.
I know.
So anyway. Harrington,
that's good stuff there to kind of talk about that with the sport. It is so different. And I've had that argument, like when I was doing triathlons really heavy, I had a coach and he's a sports science guy and he's very into all that. And we would have not arguments, but I'd be like, when I was still doing a little MMA and working with him, he'd be like, oh, we're going to do this. Let's try to do that. And I'm like, you don't understand. It just doesn't, it doesn't work like that. Like I need to cut weight. He used to say, "Oh, if you do another fight, this is before I retired. If you do another fight, you should try to walk around at like 165 pounds." I was like, I can't walk around at 165 pounds and then fight an Islam Makhachev. You understand? Like I'm going to get fucking thrown around into the wall. Like I have to be heavier. It's a grappling sport as well as a striking sport.
There's a lot more science coming to the forefront these days, but it takes away from the toughness and the grittiness that you have to have as a human being. I was talking to, I was getting some treatment on my neck from a lady that works for the Performance Institute. Shout out Jenny, she was great. And we were talking about this. You know, we had someone, I forget who it was, missed weight at the weekend by 8 pounds. And I'm like, these guys, they show up fight week. First of all, the Performance Institute plans it all out, plans their diet, gives them the food. They show up. They hardly have to do anything. Everything's given and provided to them. So many resources. They have personal saunas brought to their bedrooms for crying out loud that they can sit in. They're given their food, but they still can't make weight.
And they still can't make weight. It's laziness, man. A lot of it is laziness. And again, dude, it's funny you say that because I just had, on Facebook, you can see memories from years ago. And I had a memory from when I fought my debut in Canada in Halifax. And it was a picture of my food while I was cutting weight, like early on in the week. It was hard-boiled eggs, chopped up, no yolk, just the egg whites, and then like a store container of chopped vegetables raw that I was eating. And I would eat that and drink 2 gallons of water. That is what I was doing to make 155 pounds. I didn't have a chef there. I didn't have somebody handing me meals and puddings and protein pancakes and all that kind of shit. And I still never missed weight.
But that process, we talked about this recently, having to suffer, having to endure misery, having the mental toughness to go through that and say, no, I'm good. I will sacrifice. I will do it this way. I'll do it old school. I'll operate on next to no calories whatsoever, zero food, zero salt, zero nutrients, fucking gallons and gallons of distilled water. I'll almost kill myself the night before I do an away cut, and I'll still show up on Saturday and whoop some ass. So don't worry about it. All right, let's take a second and thank one of our sponsors on today's show, Sheath Underwear. Sheath makes the most comfortable boxer briefs that I've ever worn. If you're sick of boxers that are too loose or briefs that are too tight, Sheath is for you. Sheath Underwear is the best. Get one pair and it's going to change your life. The most comfortable boxer brief that you will ever put on your body. Their stretchy fabric is made out of a moisture wicking technology. They're super soft. They keep everything cool and comfortable and in the right place. Sheath is particularly useful for staying cool while working out. The most unique thing about Sheath Underwear, they have the dual pouches that keep your man parts separated, which prevents things from sticking together. Keeps them right where they need to be, shall we say. I was a little skeptical about the dual pouches, but let me tell you, they are a game changer. And by the way, if you're not into that idea, don't use them. You can just wear them like a regular pair of underwear. They will be the most comfortable pair of boxer briefs that you have ever worn in your life. Plus, they have brand new materials like bamboo and mesh for even more cooling comfort. Go to sheathunderwear.com, get the most comfortable underwear that you'll ever wear. Use the promo code BELIEVE20 and you'll get 20% off your order. That is sheathunderwear.com. Code is BELIEVE20 for 20% off your order. Should we get Harrington on? Yeah. Harrington.
What?
Go on, what?
No, I was going to say, what's up, Mr. Bisping?
Well, I'll tell you what's up. You have got a rather bright light today.
Yeah? I mean,
it's just an observation in the spirit of the show.
I appreciate it. The rest of my room is super dark today. So I think that's it. It's very, like, it's rainy and dreary up here in New York.
Yeah, it's miserable.
It's not.
I just spent almost a week in Rio.
Yeah.
Pissed it down every single day. Raining, cold, miserable, windy. This is not the Rio de Janeiro that you think of. Fortunately, on the last day on Sunday, the sun was out and it was a little nicer. So I was able to sit by the beer and sit by the beach at the bar and have a beer. So there you go.
I do love those little bars by on the beach there. Those are fun. Those are incredible.
That's where we were. Give us a non-MMA story. I don't know which one you're going to go for here.
All right. Dealer's choice. I got a kind of a silly, outlandish one, and I have one that's a little more heartfelt and should be addressed, I think.
I see the number one is that you've got Trump announces a ceasefire. We're not doing politics.
Okay. All right.
I've said for the record, everyone, I have told.
I was watching all about it. I was at my mom's house today, visiting with my 3-year-old Ruby, and my mom's always got the news on nonstop. So that's all I watched today was the ceasefire and all that.
Good.
Hopefully it happens. Let's just say that. Hopefully everything is. It's peace in the world, man.
Hope to God, because it's awful what's happened and happening and all that. We don't need to get into it. Fair. Anything you say is going to be dissected and it's going to offend someone. So I don't bother talking about it. Yeah. I don't even know enough about the situation because I ignore it all because I can't change anything. I'm one man. I look after myself and my family, and that's all I worry about. But I hope it sticks. But give us a non-MMA.
Okay. All right. A Canadian company says that they have a plan to open a nuclear power plant on the moon. This is a real story. This is a company. Okay.
So
Paul's got something good. I like.
We haven't even been to the moon, basically. In how long? And how long?
First time in more than 50 years.
Okay. And they're going to open a power plant there?
Yeah, that's the plan. So they are they're currently,
and for what reason, Harrington? What are they saying? Like, why there versus what would that do?
Well, there are
waste.
And there's also like just a ton of rare earth, minerals that it's an untapped market on the moon. So it's like if we can just mine these things right there, have like the Armageddon style space miners going up to the moon and drilling for these things, and then converting it into a nuclear power plant that's right there.
And Canada's going to do this?
Okay, so the idea is next year they're going to send a rocket to the moon for the first time in over 50 years to prove that we can make it back to the moon And then from there, we can start with the mining operation.
Well, AI is super strong these days. I'm sure they can make it look like they did all of that.
All right,
I mean,
fair enough.
talk about a commute to work. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ, I'm off to the moon again. Bloody hell.
Babe, I'll be back in 6 years. I gotta go.
Yeah, we can't bitch about going to Rio or Abu Dhabi or anything like that.
Can't.
If these poor bastards,
I'll tell you that is one group of people, Michael, that can give us a run for our money every day of the week when it comes to travel is astronauts. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that's not the best topic. I don't have much to it, really.
That's crazy though. If that is possible to get pulled off,
I don't know, man.
Just for the record, Paul, you don't believe we went to the moon?
You know, I really don't know. I've heard so many different things on this on both sides of it. I just think that my only thing is, if we had, and we did that when we had such little technology, why haven't we gone? Why isn't it a regular thing? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there was a big space race. I think there was a space race with nations that we were basically on the cusp of war with constantly. And it was to see who could prove the superior power. So I don't know. I'm not going to say that it didn't happen. I'm not going to go and be one of those people, but I'm skeptical, Michael.
Well, I think they probably did, you know, but
how do you launch off of a disc anyway? I mean, we're pretty flat. I mean, I don't even understand.
Oh, don't go full Bryce Mitchell. Don't go full Bryce.
Does anybody know the area code?
Once you go full Bryce, you can never go back.
The area code?
Nixon called him on a landline.
Yeah, dude. Right.
I've heard Joe Rogan list on a video on Instagram. Rogan lists like 7 or 8 really good reasons why it never happened.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, and I have seen, what's his name? What's the astronaut called?
Was it Buzz?
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, he's the one that says, like, we didn't do it.
He refuses. Who is the one that refuses to swear on his children's lives?
Yeah, that's him. He punched a guy in the face for confronting him about it outside somewhere.
Yeah, but maybe that's just because he's offended. He's like, of course I went to the moon. Do not ask me to swear on my children's life. That's offensive. I went.
And that is offensive, but yeah.
He's like, a lifetime of work and sacrifice went into that moment for me.
And I can understand that too, right? Like, if you did, and if it did all happen successfully, can you imagine how infuriating it is to have millions of people constantly saying, it's bullshit. And you're this older man who did that, knowing that you probably could, there's a really high probability that you're not going to make it there and you might die in space, and you did it and you made it back. So I see both sides. You know what I'm saying?
If I was him, I would take issue at, who was it recently? Katy Perry and Gail King and all them lot,
just going and cruising up
claiming to be astronauts just because they went up a few feet, you know. Harrington, give us another one. I mean, here's what he's got. He's got the in-betweeners are making a comeback. Jesus, dogs. Did you ever watch the in-betweeners, Paul?
I don't think so.
There you go. Hence why I wasn't going to bring it up. But it is a very, very funny British TV show. Harrington's got nothing to add. Geez, this is a sad one.
Okay.
Herringbone, go on.
I was going to say I love the in-betweeners, but yeah, no, I did want to get to this one because yes, while it is sad, it's also like a little bit uplifting. So Jim Miller's son is currently dealing with a very rare form of childhood cancer. Jim said that the doctors caught it early. They went in, they cut out like the vast majority of it, and he's healing up really well. Yeah, I mean, look at that thing.
So that's the tumor that they removed, is it?
Yes. And then
it's not a tumor. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and then that's the scar. And then if you go to the end, though, you can see he is in good spirits.
Giving the middle fingers?
Yeah. I mean,
hell yeah.
The kid's a little bad.
Yeah,
man.
son.
And there's a video where I think they're messing around in the house. They've got wigs on. They pretend they bump into each other. Then they rip the wigs off because they've all shaved their heads in support of him. That's crazy.
My mom has just booked a official wig appointment with a proper facility to go and do it. But dude, the other day, and my mom, she's a tough SOB. She's taken all of this in stride. But she put on a wig that she had bought like on Amazon while my 3-year-old daughter was there the other day, and it terrified the living shit out of my young daughter. She wouldn't go anywhere near my mom, and now she's finally going to go, and because her hair is thinning, it's not gone. She's not bald, but it's thinning, and she's she's 70 now. She's been battling this stuff for a while, but to see a young guy like that, a young kid in Jim Miller's son, it's just shit drives me nuts, man. Like, an older person, if I'm 70 and I'm going through it, it's not to be expected, but it seems to be the case lately.
It's every parent's worst nightmare. You see a little
for sure
under the eye, and you think, let's get this looked at. And apparently, it took a long time to get a proper appointment, and then it turns out to be a super rare form of cancer. I mean, you talk about problems. I've seen this meme on Instagram. It's like, you have a bunch of problems until you have a health problem. Yeah. Then you only have one. And for it to be your kid, to be your child, to be your son,
where you can't do much. It's just they're at the mercy of the doctors and the people that know what they're doing. So
obviously, best wishes. It sounds like he's making a recovery. It seems like the doctor's got to it and all the rest of it, but he's got to undergo 6 months, I think he said, of chemotherapy on the post. So obviously, all of our best wishes.
Best wishes to him, man. And to Jim Miller, you fucking savage, you. And your son is the same way. So good luck to you guys.
Last week, we had Conor McGregor getting suspended for 18 months. I think this is a non-story, really, let's be honest. I'm not defending McGregor, but the man lives the international playboy lifestyle. He is everywhere. And when he's not at the White House, or he's not here, he's not there, he's not in court, he's on a yacht. You know what I mean? The man's all over, he's all over the place. The way it works with USADA or whatever they're called now.
I forget the name.
Yeah, you have to declare your whereabouts. He didn't do that 2 or 3 times, so therefore they couldn't locate him. So they gave him a suspension. Do you know what? To be honest, I think I got an infraction once.
I came close. Because we travel all the time. Like, I was doing commentary and still an active fighter for a while. So I'd be off to Vegas to call Contender Series or something. They'd be knocking on my door, and I'd be like, oh, shit. Obviously, I'm not dodging them. I'd answer the call. I'd say, I'm on a plane right now. I'm not.
Send one of your colleagues to the Apex and come and take the blood.
They won't.
Yeah, no, I know. So it's a lot of people ran with that story. Always been suspended. It's a non-story, really. He's going to be back in time for the White House. Speaking of the White House, did we talk about Pereira and Jones? Obviously, Pereira wanted Jones, and we talked about that. Jones lost a family member. We talked about that on again. Our sincere condolences. But now apparently Jones has agreed to it. Pereira's agreed to it. And we know Dana said he needs fighters he can rely on. But if Donald Trump wants John Jones at the White House, I reckon we might get John Jones, Alex Pereira at the White House. Could you imagine?
And Dana keeps talking about he's only going to put the biggest, baddest fights. Dude, we talked a lot about Tom and John. I think that's an epic fight. This can just be put right back in there in the place of that. I think there's no doubt about it. If you have Pereira moving up, John Jones, unbelievable fight. And dude, that shit that is definitely happening too. I was talking to Candido. I think he's in DC at some point this week. Like, they're constantly going to DC and scouting it out and figuring it out. Like, this shit is going to go down.
Oh yeah.
It is definitely happening.
Jones versus Pereira. I mean, it might happen. I'd like it to happen. I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see that fight.
Charles versus Max for the BMF.
Yeah.
Topuria. Who else would you put on there? Topuria versus Justin, but that's probably going to go down.
I mean, and Connor still saying
Connor
he wants to be on it.
I mean, there's 3 huge fights already.
Who do you think wins that fight? If Connor stays healthy, gets to a camp, makes it to the White House, Chandler makes it to the White House. I talked about this. I did an Instagram post. I think Chandler wins that fight. Who do you think wins that fight?
I think Connor smokes him.
No way, man.
Listen, you got to remember, there's been a drop off. It will have been 5 years since his last fought. And then a lot of partying and a lot of living in an extravagant multi-millionaire lifestyle, which isn't conducive to a fighter and the silk sheets and all that shit. Yeah. However, you can't just forget. Remember, when he fought Habib, he lost the fight, but he made it to the 4th round. And he had some moments, and he got dominated for the most
Many
part.
moons ago.
Many moons ago, but 6 months is a long time. If you can get motivated, you can undo
I agree
a lot
with you,
of
though.
damage.
If he can.
Like as a smoker, if you're smoking your whole life and then you stop smoking, within 6 months, your lungs, if you're young enough, are regenerated.
Yeah.
If you've got a terrible alcohol problem, within a few months, your liver is good as gold. So I hope. So I've been told. But you know what I mean? If you're a fat fuck because you can't watch your diet, all of a sudden, 6 months, you're back in shape. You got that 6-pack popping, right? And if you're really, truly dedicated, and in the past you were good enough to become a 2-weight division simultaneous champ, knocking everyone out. Look at that masterclass over Eddie Alvarez, the 12-second knockout over Jose Aldo. And yes, there's a lot of time. There's a lot of wear and tear. There's a broken leg at play as well. So that is a big factor. But discipline, motivation, a want, a need, a desire. I'm just saying that there's a lot of reasons for him to really dial it back and try and become the version of himself that he used to be.
And I think we all want to see that. Like, love him, hate him, all the shit that goes on with Conor, just tons of bullshit. But again, when he's at his peak and when he's actually competing and fighting the way he used to fight, I loved watching him fight. Like, I know a lot of people give me shit and give you shit. We're talking trash. And he's got all the nut huggers in the world. We know that. But when he is prime and on point, man, he is fun to watch. I just don't see that happening. What about you boys, Harrington and Brian?
Yeah.
If they dare say.
If the fight goes on, I'd like to think that Conor can knock him out pretty quickly, because that's just Michael Chandler likes to get hit.
Bro, listen, Chandler's very hittable.
That's what I'm saying.
Paddy and this isn't a disrespect to Paddy. Paddy just mollywopped him.
Paddy is peak prime of his life right now.
Correct.
But I don't think peak Paddy is anywhere close to peak Conor. But
we're not going to see peak Conor.
I'm not saying that, but there's a huge gap between
Connor's beating up amateurs in Italy after he does a night of cocaine.
That's fair.
Yeah, but also, and again, and I'm not shitting on Chandler. Hold on, here's his record. Lost to Paddy.
Oh, I know, bro. Yeah, it's not good. I'm with you on that.
He's won.
He's 2-5. He's 2-5.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
And Chandler, let me scroll it all the way up here. I think he's
been finished 3 of those 5 times too.
He's 39 years old. He'll be 40 by the time.
Yeah, he's older than Conor.
Around. Yeah,
he's older than Conor. Yeah.
Conor's
all right.
What, 36
I see the points. I see the points.
He's also got an extra 5 years of wear and tear against top guys. With Conor.
Hold on. Conor's had plenty of wear and tear, Mike Harrington.
Fair.
It may not be by getting beat up in the gym, but it's probably far worse than getting beat up in the gym or in the cage than the shit he's been going through on that yacht and other places. Let's be honest.
How does that affect your chin, though?
That's what I'm saying. Like knockouts.
Does it affect your brain?
That's fair.
But as I said, the body is a magnificent thing.
I agree with you there, Michael.
If you can get on the straight and narrow, if you can get disciplined, if you can live the lifestyle of a fighter, you can get back. Listen, bro, I haven't been training like a fighter. I guarantee you give me 6 months. You say I'm going to pay you a massive amount of money, millions and millions of dollars. The whole world has seen me lose and said he's done, he's lost, he can't fight anymore. And it's what you hold dear to your heart. You give me 6 months and that kind of motivation and potentially $100 million, which is what he's asking for, which I doubt very much he's going to get. But you give me all of that, I'll turn back that clock, baby. I will turn back that bad neck, no knees. Let's fucking go.
We'll get you a fucking robot eye after that.
We saw
exactly
with that money.
Didn't we see Tyson Fury come down from like 400 pounds to become like a championship boxer again inside of like a year?
400 is generous. That man was fucking gigantic.
Yeah. And this, see if you can find this, Brian. It's so motivational because Tyson Fury, he had an alcohol problem, he had a drug problem, he had a depression problem, he was massively obese, and he said he thought one day, he said, that's it, I'm going to go for a run. He put a bin bag on, a garbage bag, and he couldn't even do a mile. And the next day he could do a mile. Then it was 1.5 miles. Then it was 2 miles. And all of a sudden he comes back, and yeah, granted he lost to Usyk, you know what I mean? But he became one of the very best boxers of the generation. He was a part of so many big fights. And there you go. There's a prime example. And again, I'm not sitting here sucking McGregor off. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know you're not that. I know you're not that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, the human body is an incredible thing. And like you can, and he's still young enough. He's still young enough to where, and the big question is if you're disciplined.
Yeah.
If you truly are, if you live that like a monk and God knows he's got the reason to.
And I'll be the first to say that if he could, and he does do that, I will be the first to be like, that's impressive, right? Because I know that it has to be extremely difficult to be able to do that when you do have the possibility of having the lifestyle that you have.
Let's have a
Oh,
listen.
you're all O'Malley. I said, yeah, I said, I've had enough of this life.
God damn it.
Don't get copyright struck because of the goddamn music, YouTube. But listen, Tyson Fury, I mean, yeah, Jesus Christ, we just had Ricky Hatton for crying out loud, you know, on the mental health side of things. Just awful. He had his funeral, by the way, on Friday. There's a tremendous amount of people showed out for that. So RIP to an absolute legend one more time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a powerful message. You know, the human beings and the human body can come back from a lot of trauma, from a lot of damage, from a lot of abuse, for want of a better word, if the motivation to do it is there. So
100%. I do agree with all that. I do agree with all of that.
All right, this episode is sponsored by MyBookie. Now, some say Thanksgiving is the best gambling weekend of the year, but October has NFL in full swing, MLB playoffs, the start of the NBA, NHL seasons, and UFC 321. MyBookie's brand new cash system gives you options to bet and win all season long. First 2 legs of your parlay hit, cash out early and place another bet, or let it ride for a shot at an even bigger payday. Just join us at MyBookie for an entire season filled with daily odds boost, same game parlays, and huge prize pool contests. Right now, MyBookie has a no strings attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and then withdraw quick. Use the promo code BELIEVE on your first deposit of $50 or more, and you can receive up to $200 in cash instantly credited to your MyBookie account. That is promo code BELIEVE to claim your own cash bonus right now. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Paul, your travel schedule, you are leaving. You are going to beautiful Vancouver tomorrow. We have quite the fight card. I've never been to Vancouver.
It's very nice. It's a very cool city. Was it last year? Maybe 2 years ago? I think maybe 2 years ago I was there calling the fights, and I had a lot of fun there. It was really nice. And I'll be leaving soon. And the card is really, really good. RDR obviously taking on Brendan Allen in the main event, but the main card, super exciting. A lot of Canadian prospects. Mike Malott, Kevin Holland. I mean, that's going to be... Kevin Holland don't give a fuck.
He does not, and I love that. So Derrida versus Allen, Holland versus Mike Malott, Marlon Vera versus Eamon Zahabi, Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasdavicius.
Great fight there.
Cody Gibson, Ariki Leng, Kyle Nelson, Matt Favola. That's a pretty... action-packed main card.
It's gonna be pretty chaotic. Like, based on those names that we're talking about and how those fighters fight, it could be, especially the Favola. You know what you're gonna get when you get a Favola fight. Same with Kyle Nelson. He's coming. Dude just comes and throws leather, especially fighting in Canada. He's gonna be really repping his home country hard.
So let's talk about this. Deiveson, the main event. Deiveson versus Brendan Allen. So Deiveson's on in the UFC 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, last time had that win over Robert Whittaker. There was a lot of talk of him being next in line and fighting for the belt. Now he's going up against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen has the skills to really cause problems for Deiveson. He's very well-rounded. He's a tremendously talented grappler.
Yep.
Not being offensive to him. It's this side of things that seems to get Brendan Allen. He seems to, the mental side, he seems to struggle a little bit, and he kind of gets in his own way. Got a good win over Martori back in July. Before that, he lost to Fluffy, where Fluffy's just a monster and beats everyone. And before that, Imavov in Paris. Started off really good, if I remember rightly. Got a takedown early, but then again, he just kind of mentally broke as the fight progressed, and Imavov beat him by a decision. So it's not an easy fight for Deiveson. But if Deiveson gets this done, and I believe on the ground, Deiveson is a problem for everybody.
Of course.
He's massive for the weight class. He's got a very unconventional, weird, goofy, awkward timing, striking style.
Yeah, it is.
He's got knees to the midsection.
It is goofy. It is goofy, but it is effective. It is effective. And I spent a lot of time with Rob Whittaker in Perth when I was there calling the fights, and I got to talk to him a little bit about that fight. And I was just like, how difficult is it to deal with that guy? He's like, bro, it's so fucking hard to figure him out and his timing and the knees and just the way that he fights. You don't know what you're getting at any point in that fight. And Brendan, I trained with for a long time at Rufus Sport when he was there as a young guy. I saw him basically go from a regional level MMA fighter to Contender Series to UFC, all while I was training with this young man. And when he's on, he is unbelievable, and he has got all the skills absolutely everywhere that you would need to be good in mixed martial arts. He's a great striker. He's got unbelievable grappling. He's got good wrestling. He's got a good gas tank too. Like, he's a gamer. He's got a great chin. He's been knocked out, but I mean, here and there, like Sean Strickland hurt him with a bad shot. Like he's a adorable dude. But again, I do think it's the focus. Are you mentally on track in your outside life and everything else? If that's the case, and he took this fight, he wanted this fight, so I'm hoping that means that he's ready for this fight. But it should be a really interesting stylistic matchup between these two, because on the feet, technically, I think Brendan is far superior in his overall striking capabilities. But those fucking knees that Deiveson throws at people, really game changer.
The knees, and I think everything he throws with a lot of power. He's massive for the division. He's a huge frame. He's got a lot of leverage, a big wingspan. He's like, because we spoke to him in Paris at the post-fight show, and he's like, he's a big dude, man. He was way bigger than me, and I'm today 231 pounds. But by the next podcast, which we might do one Thursday, by the way, Paul, you'll be in Vancouver, but I told you last week, we're getting back on track. We're getting back on track, and we might be back to 2 a week very, very soon. By Thursday, I'm going to be back down to 220. That's a fact. Okay. But no, he's big. He's strong. Did Whittaker mention his strength? Did he say he's strong?
Yeah, I think he did say he was pretty strong, if I remember correctly. But yeah, just the awkwardness is a big thing he talked about, and trying to time a guy like that.
What's going on in the middleweight division? Hamzat, we haven't had. Who's he fighting next? Have we had any talk of anything?
Well, no, I think a lot of it is, obviously Imavov is out there after his win, beating Kyle Bahayo. And then I think the eyes were really on this fight when it was originally Fluffy. Now it's RDR and Brendan. I don't think Brendan's jumping the line if he gets a win over RDR. But if RDR wins impressively, I think he can clearly make his claim for that shot. I don't know if he'll get it over Imavov, but he can certainly make an argument.
I think if RDR gets a win, and I'll just throw it out there, no offense to Brendan, he's great. I think he does. I think he wins this fight. I think RDR beats Brendan Allen. If he gets the shot next, it'd be almost sod's law for Hamzat Chimaev, because out of everyone at 185, RDR is the guy that's got the most stylistic problems for Khamzat Chimaev.
You don't think it would have been Fluffy if he was healthy?
I was just going to say there's Fluffy as well.
But without him, yeah.
But RDR, if he gets taken down, he's got the guard, he's got the sweeps, he's got the jiu-jitsu. Probably welcomes getting taken down. You know, it'll be an interesting matchup because outside of that, I mean, Drickus ain't going to get a shot anytime soon. Imavov, yeah, he'd be a problem. He would. He's not easy to beat. The hand speed last time against Berhalio was
impressive,
ridiculous. Strickland. I mean, Strickland's talking shit, calling for a fight with Khamzat. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Is he? We're not going to see that. It's Hernandez and RDR. If RDR is victorious. Brian and Harrington, I've got RDR. Do I say decision? No. It's 5 rounds. I think 5 rounds, RDR catches him in some form of submission.
Yeah, I think Allen has a puncher's chance for certain at winning this, but I think they both end up getting mauled by Khamzat if that's their next fights. I think either one of them.
I can't pick against RDR simply because, I mean, he has a win over Robert Whittaker. And I feel like once you've gotten to that level, that just means more to me as a fan. Whereas, like, I feel like every time I've seen Brendan come up to that level of challenge and competition, he's shrunk in the moment. But I do think if anyone's going to do it outside of Khamzat, it's going to be Brendan Allen because, as Paul said, that awkward style, he's not afraid to go to the ground with RDR either. You know, like he loves grappling with these dudes. So, you know, if it's 2 grapplers in there, we always say it turns into a striking fight. And I like Brendan Allen's hands a little bit better.
And I know it's not the same type of level with RDR and like Paul Craig, but when Brendan fought Paul Craig, I mean, he demolished him on the mat. And that was a guy that was like, oh, you go to the ground with Paul Craig, you can catch you in a submission. And he was just like, yeah, fuck that. I don't care. I'm going to beat your ass. But Fluffy, the same thing happened. They both grappled quite a bit. And he, again, 2 times on the regional scene and then in the UFC was able to out-grapple him. I think that's why Fluffy truly is the only one really that is the threat that is now missing from this puzzle because he's injured.
I think, though, the fact this is a main event, I think the fact it's 5 rounds, there's a lot of pressure on Brendan Allen. We have seen him struggle under those situations. Doesn't mean you can't improve. Doesn't mean you can't, you know, get a handle on that, work with a sports psychologist, do a lot of visualization and stuff like that. Doesn't mean you can't alter that. But in the past, we have seen that affect him. So for those reasons, I've got RDR. Who else is on the card? We got Chito Vera versus Ayman Sahabi. Chito, respectfully, is under a bit of pressure here. Needs to get a win. No, that is Manon Fiorot I clicked on. That is not Chito Vera. Chito, 3 out of his last 4 beat Pedro Munoz, but lost to Corey, O'Malley, and Figueiredo. No shame in losing to those guys, but I think with Ayman Sahabi, who is a tricky guy, he is a good grappler. He does have some good coaching for sure from his brother Faraz, you know, but he's a little bit lower down the pecking order. You know, this is a fight that I think Chito should be expected to win, and I do think he takes it.
Dude's last win was Jose Aldo, or the ghost of him anyway. He's on a pretty impressive win streak. But you know, I'd love to see Chito Vera win.
6-fight win streak for Zahabi. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's a
Jose Aldo, Pedro Munoz, 2 tough guys. Javid Basharat. The Basharat brothers are really good.
Oh, yeah.
Ariki Lang knocked him out in the first minute. Ricky Turquios and Draco Rodriguez. Shit, man. 6-fight win streak.
It's tough.
Yeah. And you have
win streak too.
And you have to go back to like 2019, 2017 before there's a loss, because there was like a significant gap in there. So it's been a long time since this man has tasted defeat. And with Chito's back against the wall, that's certainly saying something. I mean, my only thing I'm looking at is these Canadian fighters sometimes. I mean, we saw it in a card, I want to say early last year. I think all the Canadian fighters lost. Some of these dudes really have a hard time under the bright lights fighting in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Mike Malott and Kevin Holland. That's a great fight. Saw Mike Malott fold to Neil Magny under those same bright lights. What do you guys think about that one?
I think Kevin step up.
He's a big step up.
Yeah.
Kevin Holland is just, he's so entertaining to watch. and he doesn't care. This will be his 4th fight this year. He looked amazing against Gunnar Nelson, finished Vicente Luque and looked really good, and then lost the decision to Daniel Rodriguez in a very close fight.
Fun fight.
I think Holland's got the size, he's got the reach, he's got the grappling, he's got the attitude, he's got the verbal warfare for sure. I got to go with Kevin Holland.
He also has that fight against RDR in January. So this is actually his 5th fight of the year. I mean,
5th fight of the year.
Wild.
That's a lot.
Or October 5th is when he made his UFC debut. So this will be 6 fights in almost a calendar year.
That's nuts. That's just such an insane schedule to keep up at such a high level. I mean, Mike Malott, 33 years old. I mean, he's still in his prime, but he's towards the back end of it. He cannot lose this fight on home soil. This is Canada's best, for a while at least. It was Canada's best prospect at a champion. I don't know, man. I remember that Neil Magny fight. He gasped because he unloaded and tried to finish Neil Magny in the first and the second, was still actively going for the finish into the 3rd round. I think with Kevin Holland, because Kevin Holland himself likes to fight on cruise control sometimes, I think Malott might match that and cruise to a decision victory, but I think he gets it.
But you got to remember, Mike Malott was the big Canadian prospect. He was on pay-per-view. He was undefeated. It was UFC 297. And what happened? Neil Magny, the big moment, the pressure, the bright lights, the pay-per-view, the carrying the flag, whatever you want to call it, kind of got to him. And now here he is again, rebounded, co-main event. The weight of the country on his shoulders.
I think he learned something from the Magny fight, dude. I think he learned his lesson.
Yeah, maybe.
Kevin Holland's
I'll still say Kevin Holland.
I'm saying Kevin Holland is a different kind of fighter. I don't know if Kevin Holland does play with the brakes on. If he comes in and puts the pressure on him, that's a tough dude to get past.
Like the Kevin Holland that beat Gunnar Nelson. Yeah. He looks like championship quality. And that is the only issue. He is a little bit inconsistent. Granted, all right. He fought Hamzat, got finished. That was a long time ago, though. But who else have we had? We had Roman Dolidze. That was a corner stoppage, the rib. Renier Derrida. It's Renier Derrida, man. That's what he does. Oh, Michael Venom Page, because Venom Page is just awkward as hell. Went to a split with Jack Della Maddalena, you know what I mean, which has aged very well. Yeah, so anyway, I've got Kevin Holland.
All right, we'll see.
I tell you what, considering that I've had some sleep on the plane, but I'm dying. I've got no voice. I feel like we've had an okay show here, Paul.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
We've hung tight. We've soaked it up. Brian, you were going to say something?
I was going to say there's one more very interesting fight on the card. It's on the prelims, though. Davey Grant versus Charles Jourdain.
I love that fight. I also circled that when I was looking at stuff today for the first time. All right, let me start to get primed for that. Dude, I love Davey Grant, and I also love Charles Jourdain. So that's going to be a fun fight between those two guys.
Davey Grant is the absolute man. Yeah. It's such a shame he's so criminally underrated.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the respect that he deserves, I'm sure.
I feel like we just saw him too. Where was that we were calling his fight?
Abu Dhabi. He beat Damon Blackshear.
Yeah.
Good win. Before that, beat Ramon Tavares. That was in December in Tampa.
Yeah.
Lost to Daniel Marcos last year. But outside of that, he's won 4 out of his last 5. 39 years old. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Always got a smile on his face. I love that guy. I've known David for a long time. A long time. Used to train with him back in England a little bit. And he used to DJ. So he knows some of my old. Yeah. Davey was a DJ. So we got some similar friends and some good stories we can share that will not be repeated on the podcast. But yeah, Dave is the absolute man. So typically we say, send in a question to bynpod@gmail.com. But Brian says that we haven't got any questions today. Is that correct, Brian?
So we got one. Somebody did send in one, but it's locked behind a Gmail account, and I got to ask for permission. And if you're watching this show right now, it's too late.
We don't ask for permission.
Where we're going, we don't need permission.
We tell you. I do have some breaking news for you, fellas.
Whoa.
I like a bit of breaking news, as long as it isn't about something irrelevant that no one cares about. But fine, sure, go ahead.
I think people are going to care about it, especially one person on this show. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales is apparently on for Madison Square Garden.
So I told you guys that something was in the works a while back, and that is the fight that is in the works. Sean wanted to fight Bilal, wanted to fight Usman, wanted to fight Ian Gary. The UFC gives him this, and he says, fuck yeah, I'll take the fight. I just want to say there's a lot of guys in this business, Michael, and you know this just from seeing how things shake out recently. This kid's behind him. Sean's the number 2 contender right now in the world. And he says, I just got to win fights to be able to get to that belt. And I'll fight this kid. And he asked me my advice, and we've talked about it. And obviously he's talking to his management, his team, and many more important people than me. I said, do you think you can beat this kid? If you think you can beat this kid, you get a big platform, you go out there, you smoke this kid, and nobody can fucking deny you if you just keep beating these guys that they put in front of you. And eventually you will get to that belt, and you'll just have a bunch of fucking skulls behind you by the end of it.
Yeah, Morales, undefeated, absolute stud, 18-0, 13 knockouts, last beat Gilbert Burns, Neil Magny, Jake Matthews, Max Griffin, right?
Yeah.
None of those, well, Gilbert Burns can. I'm going to say none of those guys can grapple like Sean Brady.
Yeah.
But Gilbert, respectfully, love Gilbert. Absolute legend. You know, is towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
Whereas Sean Brady's in the prime of his life.
Yeah.
And Morales is a striker first. He's a boxer first, and he's a handful for anyone. But for Sean Brady, stylistically, this could be, you know, on paper.
It's dangerous. It's a dangerous fight, and Sean knows it's dangerous. And the fact that he's taken it, it's just, I really do think that it shows the Sean Brady that lost to Bilal years ago in Abu Dhabi would not have accepted this fight. This would have been, that's not the trajectory I want to be on. This doesn't line up with what I thought it was going to be. I think the kid that we're seeing now, he's a family guy now. He's got his kid. He knows what he's fighting for. He knows what he's out there to do. I think we're seeing the most confident version of Sean that I've ever seen. And even going down to the gym, the kid is like, he's always working. And the fact that he had no hesitation in taking this fight. He wanted all those bigger fights. He wanted the bigger guys, the bigger names in the sport. Morales is a huge name. I mean, the kid's an absolute stud. And I'm just glad he's got a fight. I'm glad he's got something to focus on now. And, you know, a huge opportunity for Morales. No doubt about it. Shows where the company looks at Morales, too. If you can beat a kid like Sean Brady, we're going to put you right. You're right in the mix.
Well, that pay-per-view, I'm looking at the card here. That is stacked. I mean, look at this. This will be the main card, I assume, because Brady versus Morales isn't on there, but it'll be Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates, Sean Brady versus Michael Morales, Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili, and then Jack versus Islam for the welterweight title. That is a stacked pay-per-view card.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's fucking ridiculous. What's the date? What's the date on that one? November what?
No, November 22nd. Oh, no. November 15th. 22nd, I'll be in Doha. So I've got the opportunity to work the desk for ESPN, and I've got to confirm with them. But
for MSG?
Yeah, but then on the Sunday or the Monday, I'll have to fly straight to Doha. So I'll have to go to New York, fly home on the Sunday.
Hey, Michael, call them. Tell them I'm good. Paul wants it because he's in Philly, and he'll do it, and then he'll fly to Doha because Sean's now on that card. So I'm going to go.
Everything I work for.
Hey, if you do it, that's a great opportunity to get the podcast going, brother.
Live BYM in New York?
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm going no matter what. I'm going to go for Sean, regardless if I'm working or not. I probably won't be working. So we should do a pod.
Harrington and Brian can attest to this. We have talked about doing this so many times.
What better opportunity if you're working in New York than these guys are in New York?
We'll make
You
it
can
happen.
see the smile on Brian's face. He's like, okay, whatever.
We'll make it happen. But I did also, more breaking news, the guy who sent in the email just sent in permission. So
Let's go. Remember,
so we get a
before we
question
watch this,
Here's a
like
question.
the video, guys. Like the video, please. It helps the algorithm.
I didn't watch this one beforehand.
Let's
so
go.
I have no
Fuck
idea
it.
what he's
We'll do it live.
Ooh.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Paul. How you guys doing? My question for you is, since you guys have both traveled widely around the world, been to many continents and cities, I wanted to ask, what is your most favorite and least favorite airline?
Oh,
All right. Anyway, bye for now.
Right.
You know what? That's a good question.
I'll tell you right now. Any airline, and I love living in America, okay? And I'm very proud to live here. So shut up before you all start. Any airline that is based out of the United States of America, they suck. They suck. This morning, I boarded my second flight in Houston. I put my backpack up above my head. Right? For some reason, they said, we got to move your backpack. I'm like, all right, no problem. She said, we're going to put it in the closet. I said, okay, fair enough. I sleep the whole time. I wake up, we land, I go up to the front to say, I'm just trying to get my backpack. She's like, don't open that door. I said, okay, I just need my backpack, please. And she's like, we moved it back there. And she was just being so rude and so nasty and so mean. I'm like, miss, I'm just trying to get my backpack. That's what just, well, if you would let me get a word in edgeways, I'm like, what are you talking about? And why are you being so rude? You know, she was just horrible, horrible. There's no need for it.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. We just got another email that says we have an American Airlines sponsorship on the way.
Yeah. Well, they're awesome, by the way. And they listen to feedback.
But I do understand her problem there. No, yeah, I got to say, you know, my favorite airline that I've ever flown is Qatar Airways, and I will get to fly that back from Doha. I fly American direct to Doha, going there and then coming back because of the way the times work, because I'm on the East Coast. I would have to stay an entire extra day to fly direct back. So I'm taking a connection in Boston to fly Qatar to Boston, and then Boston, I think it's American to Philly.
Must be nice, Paul. Must be nice to get those directs. I'm going via London. There is a direct from Los Angeles.
But it's so easy. Like Philly, like when I go to Abu Dhabi, they fly me Philly to Doha, Doha to Abu Dhabi. So
no, I know.
I was like, you guys better not give me.
I'm joking. I'm joking because I'm going direct.
Oh, they sent me an option to Miami. Philly to Miami, Miami to Doha. And I was like,
to answer the question, I've got to go with like Emirates are amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and they've got the bar on there as well. So that's a great
I
way
haven't
to
been on an
fly.
Emirates where it has that. I've been on an Emirates where it's not all that great. But I'm telling you, Qatar, I flew, I think Singapore. I flew
Singapore
Qatar.
Airlines, top notch. The staff are so nice.
Yeah, they're
so
good.
nice.
Same with Qatar. I'm telling you, Qatar, pro.
Virgin Airlines used to be good.
Virgin give me fun because there's the bar there too. It's kind of like they're trying to almost make it like a social kind of thing going on, but that can be annoying too when you're exhausted and all you want to do is just like zen out and be private, and you can't. You can't be private in those ones.
I was on a flight back on Virgin Airlines, and we were at the bar, and it was Uhura. She's a female actress who played Lieutenant Uhura, I think, in the original Star Trek. It was her, DJ Roger Sanchez, some other famous actor, and myself, all at the bar. I'm like, this is cool as hell. You know what I mean? Cool. Yeah. So you meet some interesting people. But yeah, Singapore, basically anyone that's not an American airline, I say that. You know, like United, I just flew United. Bro, the plane's about 100 years old. Jesus Christ.
I just flew United, though, I think going to Sydney, not Perth, but to Sydney. And that was that was a Qantas coming back from Perth to Sydney was the airline it was on, and that was a nice new plane and nice business class. That was nice on Qantas.
Yeah. When you're paying that amount of money, or someone else is paying it on your behalf, regardless, I'll still pretend that I'm paying for it. I'd like a newer plane. I don't want to see an ashtray.
I told you I was on that brand new plane with Brendan and Helly and a few others, and we were going to Perth from Sydney. It was a brand new plane, brand new, first trip that it's taken. And Brendan's going, oh, you know how first trips can go sometimes. And we're talking about the Titanic and all this. And he's texting us as we're on the airline. He's like, I don't know. I don't feel good about this one. Being a dick the whole time. I could have killed him, bro. I'm like, shut up, Brendan, while we're flying.
Well, at least if you're all plummeting to your death, Brendan could have serenaded.
We're all in business class.
He would have pulled his guitar out and done some
made
nice
a song about it. He would have made a song about it.
So we're plummeting to our death. Felder's screaming loud.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah. I think that's the end of the show.
I think that's good.
I think we're done. Not for good. I'll have a voice back by the next time we do one. We'll not just talk. There's a very good chance I'm home. Felder's not, but there's a good chance we're going to be doing a Thursday one.
Depends on when you do it.
Yeah. Oh shit, I've got to be in Los Angeles on Thursday as well. So it'll be earlier if we do one. But if you can do it, let me know. We'll text you. Is there a time difference, Paul?
Yeah. Well, no, for you, I think it's the same.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. But as always, guys,
fighter meeting.
Thank you all very much for supporting the show. Harrington and Brian, muchas gracias. Paul, thank you. That's it. Believe it, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a like and a comment and all that shit. Oh, I'm tired. See you later.